really. MMA? Nah.
Yeah.
No, what are we doing this nonsense for?
Yeah. For money.
Do you want to sit down?
No,
we're good sitting. We're good standing, yeah. Shall I get rid of the water?
No, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
Mr. Iadin, matchmaker of the Cage Warriors, the nicest guy in MMA.
Maybe.
Maybe. I know you love interviews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see
it. Yeah. Like, it's the highlight. It's the highlight of my week.
Cage Warriors 157 fight week. It's been busy.
Yeah, I mean, they're always busy. You know, you've got to be ready for anything. You know, you could get pullouts. I mean, over the years that I've been working with Cage Warriors, we've had everything, you know, snow, pandemics, I mean, other cancellations. You just have to do your best and get it over the line.
Yeah. You were talking about cancellations, but also replacement fighters.
Yeah.
Why do you love Finnish fighters?
I know this is a loaded question.
It is. But
like,
how could it be?
But look, yeah. I mean, I wouldn't just say Finnish fighters, but, and I've said this before, way back in the day, back in the early noughties, like 20 years ago, you know, I liked a lot of Scandinavian fighters. I mean, I was a big fan of David Bilkharden, you know, Janne Talasma, and those kind of guys were pioneers. And the sport, especially in the UK, wasn't that technical. And I just thought these guys were fantastic. They, you know, from their grappling, their wrestling, and they had like an all-round game. So yeah, I've always been a fan of like Scandinavian fighters for that. And yeah, you know, you build contacts, right? Yeah. That's why we're talking now, you know, and like those guys get you guys. Those guys have seen what we've done in the past, what Cage Warriors can do for fighters. They want a part of it. But also, I hope just because they just like the show, you know, and I think that's a lot of the reasons why.
Where do you see Cage Warriors going, let's say in 5 years? You were talking about 10, 15, 20 years ago, but what's going to be for the next 5, 10 years? Where do you see it?
I mean, it's like a cliche, right? But onwards and up, you know, of course I want Cage Warriors to get bigger, I want it to expand, you know, however I may feel, I always loved this brand. It's been a massive part of my life for so long. So of course I want it to get bigger. I want it to be more successful. You know, I love it. And if I can, you know, do my bit to help the growth, then great. Where can it go? I don't know. If you asked me 5 years ago, would we be doing shows in California? I would have laughed. So, you know, we went to Italy last year. We've been there once already. We've got 2 more dates there. You know, who knows?
There's always one question that I ask everybody. I said, if there's something you wish MMA would change, what would it be? Is there something that you don't like about MMA?
I mean, that is a loaded question, right? I mean, look, there's lots of little things. You know, I want it to become, you know, bigger in the mainstream. Things to change.
Or do better.
Like maybe, I want to say like maybe level a playing field, but that could mean anything. I mean, look, you know, right now at Cage Warriors, we do medicals, you know.
Very strict.
Yeah, they're strict. I mean, they're stricter in California even. I'd like maybe to see more people do that, but I understand the difficulty. The sort of stuff I would have said 10, 15 years ago, I don't know if that really applies now. I was big on like cooperation, but I'm a realist now. You know, we're all trying to push the sport. I mean, cynics would say maybe we're just trying to push our own brand. I mean, I'd like to give you a better answer. There's lots of little things, but the more you go down that hole, the trickier it gets, the more arguments you'll get. And to be honest, I'm past that now.
What would you say for an up-and-coming fighter, maybe an amateur fighter who's looking for a pro career? What kind of holes and problems they might face, and how to get forward? What kind of steps should they take?
Okay, I mean, it's not popular, but I'd sit there and say you've got to be realistic, right? Like if you're an amateur fighter and you want to go pro, I think you've got to have good people around you. You know, you've got to have people that are going to be realistic. And and tell you like the pros and cons, because I think too many people go into MMA or go into sports nowadays with really unrealistic expectations.
It's about money.
It's about money, or they sit there, and you only have to look at the rise of influencer sport now. You know, people sit there and go, well, look at those guys, and I'm not getting that. And it's like, well, they offer something that most people can't. And the world's changed, whether you like it or not, you know. So as a fighter, I think, yeah, I don't think necessarily you have to have a great amateur career. Some people spend a long time learning the amateur trade, and they might have a mixed record, but they're in a better place for it when they go pro. So I think, you know, you've got to have that all-round, you've got to have, I think, some sort of all-round ability if you want to go far. You've got to be prepared to, you know, to improve, change things up if you have to, have good people around you. And yeah, it's not for everyone, right? You know, I think you have to be realistic. Some people are going to be in a better position than others, but I don't know, like, I think at the end of the day, if you want to do it, but do it because you want to do it, and be realistic for the reasons why you want to do it, you know? Yeah. Otherwise, you know, enjoy the misery.
Hey, one more thing. Who's the best tennis player of all time?
Of all time. Listen, the facts speak for themselves. Yeah, he lost on Sunday, but how can you go past Novak? I think a win on Sunday would have really helped push him past Margaret Court's record of 25 Grand Slams. Even though, like, I'll be unpopular, like, yes, he's he owns the most male record, but I think people are always going to find a way to judge Novak, and I think if he beats Margaret Court's record of 25, well, people are going to say then, like, he is brilliant, he's fantastic, and I also respect him for taking a stand the way he did as well. I mean, I'm probably cancelled now, but but yeah, look, for me, he's the best, and I still think there's Grand Slams in him. You know, he's going to be. I still think he's going to do well in the US. We'll see in the Australian. Time is against him, but I think he'll pick up maybe, you know, 3 more, and if he does that, there's no argument. Well, there's no argument now, to be honest, and I don't care what people say.
Which is better, MMA or tennis?
Hey, look, I like tennis, right? I can't play MMA, right? But I mean, to be honest, like, it's one of many sports I like. You know, I like, you know, cricket. Cricket was a sport I played as a kid. Obviously, I like football. I like American football. I like baseball. I mean, I like lots and lots of sport, and the inner workings of it. You know, like, it fascinates me. And the more I've worked in MMA, I've actually kind of appreciated that, like, inner workings. What you see, the finished product of a sport, is just a tiny, tiny little bit of it. And there's so many stories and so many things that go on that are fascinating. They never, ever get told. And that's what dragged me to MMA as well, because you look at the guys who fight, everyone's got a story. Every territory is different. And I love it.
One more extra.
Let's go for it.
Okay. Who do you look up to? Because we all look up to someone and say that they did their job excellent. I want to, let's say, do it like that.
I think I would have probably had clearer answers, maybe a few. I've got a lot of time and respect for the pioneers of the sport, you know, like, who changed the way we thought of MMA. And maybe that's because of my age, you know. Like, I remember watching Frank Shamrock, you know, like, tape trading and seeing this guy and just like, wow, his fight with Tito Ortiz, like, was it UFC 20 something? I mean, wow. And then, I mean, as for the sport itself, look, I think this industry, and I'd imagine it's a lot like other sport industries as well, like, you're always on. You're always working. Like, right now, I've left my phone somewhere. I've got a million messages to go through, you know. I'm so deeply embedded. So yeah, there's lots of people I respect. I don't want to go into details about it, but and I think a lot of those people who I see in my inner circle know that as well. Come, find me some more cues.
Oh, I'll buy you a beer.
Okay, I'll do that. Cheers.
My pleasure.
Nice one.